Between the Ribs with host Jonathan Morris, fourth-generation farmer. First-hand insight into farming, faith, and family, as only Jonathan can bring. Between the Ribs. Between the Ribs on Florida Man Radio.
We sell meat. Don't forget, we sell meat. I am so sorry. I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, man, I had a whole another segment of stories to get to.
And I'm like, we got a whole nother segment.
So
chill out.
Let me slow down just a hair and say, I've got a buddy that I can't mention his name that works for the Postal Service. And he runs the robot up there and the machines to help unload and stack mail that comes in and goes out. Last election cycle, a lot of things happened that they didn't understand. A lot of things happened that they didn't understand, but they weren't quite sure there was a crime going on. And then after everything was over, based on the mail percentage at the Central Florida areas, when we all went to bed and Trump was winning by a landslide. And then we woke up the next morning and they counted however many mail-in ballots they counted that gave Joe Biden the win. Everybody that was like just grassroots, bottom-level guys at the post office were like, man, we were a part of this. We know all these ballots that came in and went out and came in and went out, and it was like a machine. They were just mailing them and mailing them and mailing them. So there's a lot of guys that are now just paying attention, taking notice to what's going on. Because I don't understand completely, but I always thought you had to request a mail-in ballot. That unless you requested one, they wouldn't just automatically mail you one. But do they just mass mail them out now?
Okay, so I used to think they were the sample ballots. So we all get a sample ballot. The mail-in ballot, I believe you have to request because they tell kids that are out at college to go ahead and request their mail-in ballot. And they had until like earlier this week to do so to get it on time.
But how are they requesting and mailing out ballots when the Democratic Party has not officially made their nominee yet?
That's weird. That's weird. I don't understand any of this.
So there's not going to be a surprise person at the convention. Kamala has to be the person because they're already mailing out ballots. They're already getting to the post office ready to be stamped and sent out to people's houses.
Right.
So the people you're voting for are already on the ballots. Don't let them steal this. I firmly believe, unless you're handicapped or if you're in another country at war and you have to do a ballot, like the guys in the military.
Mail-in ballots?
Mail one in because they're overseas, so they can't get to a voting station.
Because wasn't that what it was made for to start with?
Yes, it was.
Now we're all just like, I don't even want to deal with people. I'm just going to mail it in.
But let's talk about this real quick because I want to get to some beef, and I have something for you. Okay. I got a story that it's gonna make you smile. But real quick before we get to that, don't look at my phone. Don't cheat.
Okay.
All right, don't cheat. I want to see an authentic
Go
smile.
ahead.
I do believe that our voting process needs to be changed. I do feel like for a lot of people, I used to be one of them, when you're on a job for a paycheck, you may not be able to get off even though your employer is supposed to allow you time to go vote. Sometimes it's too far to drive to go vote and get back. There's understaffed. People can't get off. By the time you get off work, if you're working a double shift, you may not be able to get to the polling office before it closes at 7 p.m.
Sure. There's lots of excuses.
And even if they kept them open until 10 o'clock at night, which they can't because there'd be no way to count overnight, I'm not saying a full day off, like a holiday, but there should be. We
do holidays for dumber things.
We do. So I'm not opposed to it's like, hey, today is National Vote Day. Go do your duty and vote. Nobody has to go to work today. It's a paid government holiday.
If you vote.
Oh yeah, got to bring your voter sticker to get the day pay.
Yeah.
What about this though? You think we could vote on a Saturday?
No.
Why not?
Because that's our day of rest and playing in pools. I don't know. We don't do stuff on.
I get it. I get it. But if common sense leadership, there has to be a way to be able to get people, everybody, or at least do away with the excuse. If you're not going to vote, you're probably not going to vote. But it gets rid of your excuse by saying, I couldn't get off work, I go to work too early, I stay at work too late, whatever the instance, my boss couldn't let me off, whatever. We do need a better way where all the legal people, I said that legal people can get to the voting polls and vote for their candidate. We do have to work on that as a country. I'll leave it at that. But before I close that lid, please vote.
Correctly.
By not voting, directly, not mail-in.
Correctly.
Yes. By not voting, you are voting. You're voting for the opposition. Because if you don't vote for your candidate, that's more opportunity for the other person to win. So go vote. Go vote. Please go vote. Do your duty.
Yeah, you don't get to complain if you didn't vote. Everyone likes to complain. You don't get to. You must vote first.
So now let's vote on something more important.
All right.
The best grape on the planet.
Uh-oh.
You just
Frozen.
pick some. What? You just handed me a bag of them 2 days ago.
The
the Southern Surprise.
Scuppernons?
Muscadine, Scuppernine. We call them both Scuppernine, Muscadine, even though it's Scuppernine.
Didn't I say that?
You did.
Scuppernong?
Yeah,
you
you
told
said-
me I pronounced it really badly.
You did because we call them Scuppernines, but they're not spelled that way.
Scuppernines?
Yeah, because Muscadine, Scuppernine, that's just what we say.
Oh, it's a pokey thing.
Yes. But I thought this was a pretty cool story because this is the time of year, if you live in the South, where Scuppernines and Muscadines, they come out the ground naturally. They're a native grape to the South. They come at the end of the summer when the heat is at its peak, and a lot of people see them, don't know what they are. They think they're an invasive vine.
Been pulling that vine out for 6 years.
Aren't you glad this year you talked to me?
Well, I was about to pull out the vines. And,
But now you're eating the fruit, right?
Right. No, and I knew what they were. I was like, oh my gosh, Jonathan, there's scuppernongs.
Yes. And I eat them a little bit barbaric. Even though the seed, if you're sensitive, the outside and the seed can give you like a little weird taste on your lips.
Yeah, it can sting a little.
So
Yeah.
most people bite them or cut them and just eat the meat inside. But I chew
And
up
then
the whole
spit up
thing
the seeds.
and then spit out the seed. But if you're walking around a public park or if you're anywhere out in the country and you see these wonderful, beautiful vines with dark purple fruit
Or green.
That's two different varieties.
Okay.
The dark one is the muscadine. The light green one is the scuppernine or scuppernine. And they are fantastic. So this is the time of year for that. And Heather surprised me the other day with a text and a picture. And I was like, do not pull that vine. I was
gonna
matter of
pull
fact,
it.
pick them, bring them to me, and I'll sell them at the shop, and we'll trade you something. And now I have a bag full of them in my refrigerator. So if you're a scuppernine person, I wonder how many people don't know what scuppernines are.
My grandmother had some growing on her back porch or something. But like, okay, so I love like the lychee and the rambutan.
Uh-huh.
And those are the same kind of thing. You have to like peel off the skin in order to get to the meat and then get the seed out.
Right.
And with like lychee and the rambutan or whatever it's called, they have a seed that tastes like coconut. So anyway, I'm used to popping out the.
Right, I got it.
It's an art.
Well, do you like have you had the dark red ones? They're actually like a purple, the muscadine.
I probably have. I'm not sure.
I like
don't
those.
remember.
I like those better than the scuppernine.
Are they sweeter?
Where I come from, the darker the fruit, the sweeter the juice.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Have you heard about the listeria outbreak with Boar's Head?
Oh, I did.
You're a deli person connoisseur, right? You love ham. You love all the
I
sliced deli meats.
do.
Are you going to be able to live without it?
Yeah.
207 million pounds. It started with 7 million pounds, and then they had to expand it to 71 products over, 13 or 14 states. 207,000 pounds of deli meat.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, it is insane. But the biggest thing going on is up north in like the Bronx, New York, places like that, because the liverwurst up there is a big deal. And people are trying to figure out how to live without liverwurst. I didn't know.
Isn't the thing is that in order to kill listeria, it's like a high heat, like antiseptic wipes or whatever. Those aren't going to get rid of kill the bacteria.
No, they will not. And the reason, and this story is a few days old, but this is the reason I brought it up. They're doing the recall all over the country, Boar's Head, and they put out this statement. No words can fully express our sympathies and the sincere and deep hurt we feel for the families that have suffered losses and others who endured illnesses. Either 2 or 3 people died and like 47 people, and the count may have gone up. I quit following the story. Mm-hmm. The count may have gone up of people who have been sick. But this is why I brought the story up. People who bought the recalled products should obviously throw them away or return them to the store for the credit. But you have to clean out your refrigerator and sanitize it.
Right.
Listeria grows in cold temperatures. So
right, but you can't. There's like, I don't think sanitizing kills the listeria though.
It doesn't. It's got to be cooked out, boiled out.
Right, it's got to be heated. So even if it gets on your countertop or your refrigerator, how are you supposed to fully clean that?
I think bleach will kill it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a very strong bleach solution will kill it. Yes. So, but you also the other thing people don't know, and let me just say this here: if you've come in contact with something that may or may not have listeria, you need to create a solution, a cleaning solution, like with bleach, but it has to stay on your counter for like 10 minutes. So you just don't damp a rag and wipe your counter and be like, all good, boss, the counter's clean. You have to disinfect. You have to sanitize the entire area. The place in Virginia that had the listeria, boards had to shut that facility completely down until they get it completely sanitized.
Oh, that's
so
going to be some work.
Good for them.
Right.
I mean, it sucks that they got listeria and they killed some people. I mean, that sucks.
I mean,
but
stuff
good for them
happens.
for picking up the ball and following through with it. But if you ever come in contact with something that may have listeria, empty your refrigerator. Throw everything away. It's not worth even saving your mayonnaise. Throw all your condiments. Throw everything away, okay? Because it's not worth killing your kids
Right.
or getting somebody sick. The other thing I wanted to talk to you real quick also is you hear all this stuff about beef and vegetarians and getting rid of cows, but do you know that more and more as we go into the future and more farmers start to talk, that the roughage left over from vegetable crops can actually be raked up, gathered, and used to feed cows. So
Yeah.
you're offsetting the planet.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. It's a circle.
That makes sense.
So you grow crops, and then you let the animals eat off the crops, and then you eat the animals. So it's a double win. You don't get rid of one or the other.
Right.
Because the animals help get rid of the extra trash, if you will, or roughage
Right.
from the vegetable crop. The animals then fertilize and add nutrients to the soil and help cultivate the soil like chickens and pigs. Cows add a lot of nitrogen to the soil. And then you work that back into your soil, and then you grow your crops again. Mm-hmm. So the way God intended this thing to happen was a full circle operation, not getting rid of cows like the Green New Deal wants to do and limiting the beef consumption that Kamala Harris wants to do to Americans. I'm saying all that because I want you to know all this going into November. Kamala Harris, if she wins, wants to push forward an initiative that limits how much beef you can buy and consume in America per year. That's disgusting. So don't be fooled. Do what your heart says is right, but please don't vote for Kamala. Morris Family Farms and Organic Meats. We are your proud Florida locally grown butcher extraordinary. Hit us up if you're in Lake Mary or call us 407-402-5686. Heather, thank you for the show. It's been
Thank you.
fantastic. See y'all next week.